Good morning. Today on Spotlight, the leaders of 3 organizations that are transforming and revitalizing public spaces across Southeast Michigan. Amy McMillan of Huron-Clinton Metro Parks, Leona Medley of Joe Louis Greenway, and Megan Elliott of the Belle Isle Conservancy will share their good news. And later on our Sunday morning program, Cindy Eggleton and Tarsha Gale of Brilliant Cities will join us. What's their new phase of growth for early childhood and family neighborhood programs? They'll tell us. It's Sunday, October the 5th. I'm Chuck Stokes, and this is Spotlight. Ladies, welcome to Spotlight. You doing okay?
Great. Good morning.
Good morning. Good having all 3 of you. I'm just going to go down the line. I know that you're transforming, revitalizing Southeast Michigan with your individual organizations. Amy, how's that happening with the Huron-Clinton Metro Parks?
Well, you know, the Metro Parks form this really vibrant green ring all the way through and all the way around the region of southeastern Michigan. We provide great active recreation, incredible access to nature, and I think one of the things we don't talk about enough is what we do in schools and when we bring kids to our parks. That really is, it's building the future
Giving
of
them hands-on
southeastern
experience.
Michigan. Oh, so one of my favorite programs, I know we shouldn't have favorites, but one of my favorite programs is our supplemental science program, which we do in partnership with DPSCD, where our interpreters are in the school, in the classroom, working with kids all week long and connecting them both to their environment right outside the windows of their classroom and then bringing them back into the parks.
Wonderful. Leona Medley, Joe Louis Greenway. How are you transforming it?
Well, you know, the Joe Louis Greenway in and of itself is this massive 29-mile transformational project that we look at as a regional project. It's connecting 4 cities, so Detroit, Highland Park, Hamtramck. There are almost 200,000 residents that live within a mile or 2 miles of the Greenway. And so when you talk about access to public space and green space, health and wellness, and then as an economic driver. And so we're really excited about the Joe Louis Greenway's opportunity to drive the economy, to support existing residents, to impact their health and their wellness. And so we do lots of amazing programming. We serve our community. It's often free and family friendly. We have an event coming up on the 18th we want to make sure that people get out to, but we're so excited to be able to partner with other great park systems around the region.
Sure. Megan Elliott, same question with the Belle Isle Conservancy.
Yeah, so Belle Isle, as many of your viewers probably know, is Detroit's backyard. You know, 5.5 million visitors every year come out to the park. People come out on their very best day when they're there for a family reunion or just to hang out at the beach. They also come there on their hardest days to just look out over the water and get some peace and respite and take in the natural spaces. So we have cultural institutions on the island. The Detroit Historical Society operates the Dawson Great Lakes Museum. We have the oldest operating aquarium in America. We have one of the oldest conservatories in America. And we also have a partnership with the Detroit Zoo, who operates the Nature Center. So there's really just everything under the sun to do on Belle Isle, and we're working to make that more accessible and vibrant every day.
This question can go to any of you or all of you. Have you noticed a sizable difference in terms of people and what they want in terms of quality of life since the pandemic?
Oh, well, 100% at the Metro Parks. From the pandemic, our visitorship went up about 35% across the entire system because people wanted to be outdoors. They needed to connect to nature and they needed to connect to each other, right? And parks provide a great space for that.
Post-pandemic, a lot of folks had kind of shifted their work life to moving online. We've seen major increases in people shifting their social life to moving online. And so public spaces are one of those true kind of holdouts of a place that you can go in person and find community and have experiences that are direct. And that's been really, really meaningful. And I think people are looking for more of that on a day-to-day basis as they become more isolated in those kinds of, you know, work from home experiences or in social media settings. So they're really coming out to the parks in different ways and wanting to use them. And it's just more important than ever to bring everyone out in person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the same. I mean, you know, the Joe Louis Greenway officially opened and had its ribbon cutting on October 31st of 2023. Since that day, there have been over 150,000 visitors to the Joe Louis Greenway on that trail, and it's not even fully constructed. And what I oftentimes think of, especially with a new project, is, where are people going? Where did people in this neighborhood where the Joe Louis Greenway is today, where did they go before this? And in the city of Detroit, we have tons and tons of great parks and options. But what's more important to people is that they can go and they can walk right from their home, right? And so we have a beautiful Belle Isle.
Close proximity.
That's right. That they want to be able to, go home and have that park that has fitness equipment, that's clean and well maintained and enjoyable. And for a newly open park, we are seeing so much activity. I came from there this morning, and there are people of all different backgrounds, of all different language, ethnicities, differences, but they're all converging in public space, and they're using it in the way in which they really feel connected to.
All right, we need to take a quick little break. We'll come right back. And I want to talk about, I know that you all interact with each other, even though you have your own individual organizations, but how you do that serves this entire region and makes it a destination point for people in the city, but also outside of the metro region. We'll be right back. Stay with us. And welcome back to Spotlight, as we're talking about a very important topic of public spaces and how we are using it in Southeast Michigan. You all interact with each other, even though you have your own individual organizations. How so, and how does that strengthen this entire region? Megan?
So I think one of the most critical things is how we physically connect these public spaces. So Liana mentioned the Joe Louis Greenway runs through 4 different municipalities. It also connects to the riverfront, where the Metro Parks now has a presence. And then that goes right onto Belle Isle, where we now have a finished 6-mile loop that runs around the whole of the island by bike. So, it's not just about recreational access, but it's also 1 in 4 Detroiters do not have access to a car, and they can hop out in a neighborhood in Midwest, hop on their bike and get down to the riverfront, get down to Belle Isle. That is really transformational for our region. That's the kind of thing that I think everyone expects and wants to see. And sometimes it is kind of a cultural shift in terms of how we use spaces differently. But I think that on the whole, people are so excited to see those connections across all of these assets. And it really makes Detroit feel world-class like it is.
And I think it's also important when we talk about these public space and we talk about trails, I think sometimes it gets lost in thinking that it's being created for people who are like avid bikers. Really what we're talking about is beautiful public space that is developed for all types of users of those public spaces. But we're also saying how people can have the options, right? In the city of Detroit, you can have a car if you have the ability to have a car, but if you don't, or you choose not to, now you have trails and connected networks that can allow you to get to work. And so the Greenway, as a part of this large system, is really focused on enhancing quality of life for Detroiters. So more access to green space, getting out and having a space in your backyard where you can go walk. We want to make sure that it's a transportation network. So people who need to use this or want to use this to get to work or to get to the grocery store, they have an option to do that. And then how can we really focus on the long-term economic development? And so the way that we work together, not only are we friends, right? So it makes it easy when you get to work with your friends.
You guys get along really well.
Right? But I'm able to have Huron Metro Parks come out with their mobile nature center onto the Greenway and program onto the Greenway. Megan, who is the founder of my organization, is not only a partner and a friend, but a thought leader and a board member. And so we get to work together and collaborate. And so it's important that as organizations and as individuals, we figure out, because our responsibility is to steward the resources.
Yeah.
And we have to do that responsibly, and we go further together.
Yeah. Amy, your organization probably goes further out than all the rest of them because you're connecting this entire region and parks everywhere. Is there a key difference between what you're hearing people want way out in this kind of more suburban areas versus the more urban areas?
I think that generally speaking, people throughout southeastern Michigan want the same thing. Right?
Okay.
Trails are always at the very top of every list of every survey we take everywhere through every zip code. And so how people use those trails varies by the type of trail that's available and the location of that trail. And things like beaches and we have spectacular beaches throughout the metro park. So it's really about, I mean, we all lead our own systems, our own organizations, but when we work together and we cooperate together and we collaborate together and we just sit and have coffee and talk about, you know, what's going on throughout the region, it's how to knit all of these resources together for the entire region so that they are seamless in the way, because people don't really think about, oh, that's a state park, or it's, you know, it's a particular type of trail, or maybe even not know that it's a metro park. They know how they want to be outdoors. They know they want to be safe when they're outdoors. They know they want to be welcomed. They want to have these big experiences. So working together throughout our communities and throughout the region is what makes that accessible and available to people.
So what's on the wish list? If you could sort of look into your crystal ball for a few years down the line, something you don't have now but you'd like to have, what would it be?
Well, I feel like I keep going with the kind of physical pieces, but I want the Joe Louis Greenway to be completed in full.
Okay.
To continue to work with the Metro Park system on all the ways that we can kind of collaborate and coordinate, and especially, you know, lift up that presence on Belle Isle. We have a ton of capital projects on the horizon on Belle Isle, one of which is thinking about a beach expansion, which is hugely popular, and kind of looking to how popular they are in the metro parks and thinking about that. And we're also working on a project called the Commons, which is basically, a lot of folks told us they want to be able to get out of their cars once they're on the island and be able to kind of move between all these destinations.
Yeah.
So we've been working on that project and have had a ton of community engagement and involvement on that. And I think I'm just so excited to see how that continues to roll out.
Got 30 seconds left. Anybody else want to add into that? Chip in?
Go ahead.
So we are working to build a connected trail system from Metro Park to Metro Park to Metro Park. We're so excited about that vision finally coming to life. And then also we are working really hard with all of our partners to make sure that every child who lives in our region is safe in the water and knows how to swim.
All right, very good.
And I'll just say sustainable source of funding to ensure that these parks and these assets have the resources to be maintained.
Keep
and
the
enjoyable.
cash coming in.
Keep the cash flowing.
All right, so Amy, Leona, Megan, thank you so much for coming in, sharing all of this good news. And when Spotlight returns, we'll turn our attention to Brilliant Cities and Tarsha Gale and Cindy Eggleton. We'll be right back. Stay with us. And welcome back to Spotlight. Joining me now is Tarsha Gale and Cindy Eggleton of Brilliant Detroit, Brilliant Cities. Welcome. Welcome back for you as
It's
well.
amazing to be here. I just loved being on here the last time. I love everything you do, and I'm glad to be joined by my teammate Tarsha here.
Well, it's a pleasure having you. I'm going to start with you, Cindy Eggleton. When you started Brilliant Detroit, co-founded it in 2016, did you have any idea that it would be as successful as it is, and you're now talking about great expansion?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. It was a unique idea at that time, doing the work we do out of houses in the middle of neighborhoods where kids and families can get everything they need in walkable distance. But it's an idea whose time had come. So we've been around 9 years. And in that time from the beginning, we're now at 19 neighborhoods, we've had a waiting list of people wanting to do this in their neighborhood. And the thing that I think we're most proud of is this was born in Detroit. Detroit actually is a city of innovation, and it has the best people in the world, in my view. And today we have 42 cities and 12 countries on the waiting list that want to do what we have done in Detroit.
Which takes up the lion's share of your time now.
That's right. I've transitioned, and we've got the most wonderful executive director for Detroit, which I know you're going to talk a little bit to Tarsha.
It's the perfect segue to Ms. Gale. You haven't been with Brilliant Cities or Brilliant Detroit that long, but you certainly have dealt with education and kids. From your perspective, from what you've seen so far, what makes Brilliant Detroit work?
We call it the secret sauce, and it is the community. We are working with the community, we work for the community, and we deliver our programming by the community. So that's the key for us, is that we join with our communities. We don't go into any communities that we're not welcome into or asked to come into. We listen. That is the first thing we do, which is very important. And that was very important for me coming into Brilliant Cities, listening to the community and what they need, because the community knows what they need. They know what they need. They know what is going to help them to build stronger communities, and they have the resources there already. We join with them to amplify that and work with them to bring the things that will create kid success neighborhoods and create strong families.
And the start in Detroit, and you've got several around the city of Detroit, and you now have one, I think, in Pontiac, or about to open one in Pontiac?
Yes, we have an open hub in Pontiac. That hub opened in 2024, and it's just amazing. It is a part of a community that was already doing a lot, and Cindy can speak into, how we joined with that community and the special hub that we have there as well.
Yeah, it's an amazing location, and in fact, it was the community themselves organized the listening sessions, and they asked for a long time. We weren't sure if we were ready to expand outside of Detroit, and we were, because they were. And I think the other thing to say in terms of this work is there's two things. I think organizations provide programs and services, we do that, but a community is there for each other. And in today's world, we need that more than ever. And as a result, we have shown 3 reading levels of growth, significant improvement in education, health, and family support. And one of the most important metrics that we found right now is that our families feel they belong and that they're connected for the first time in their neighborhoods. That is actually what's fueling change and bringing community back to community. Pontiac, you can feel that when you're there, but also every neighborhood in Detroit.
Yeah. All right, we're going to rush and get a quick little break in here. We'll come right back. And I want you, Tarsha Gill, to walk me through what's sort of a typical day at any one of our Brilliant Cities locations. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to Spotlight, talking to Tarsha Gill and Cindy Eggleton. Tarsha, what age do you start the kids at?
So our focus is what we say from belly to 8. So we work with mothers who are pregnant. We do infant mental health services or prenatal services that will actually help a mother understand pregnancy and the things that she needs to actually have a healthy pregnancy. We connect to resources for that. But we work with children up until the age 8. And at that point, we have a program that we're developing where we'll be able to connect them with resources so that the family can continue to work on literacy and health and all the other things beyond that as well. But 8 is where our programming stops.
And what's sort of a typical day, and what do you hear from parents that they like about this, that they get out of this, that makes quality of life for them and their family?
So again, because we join with the community, each one of our hubs is unique in that way. So you could walk into one of our hubs.
Not a cookie cutter formula.
Correct. We listen to what that community needs. And if they say, we're interested in a Zumba class because we want to focus on health and we want to come together and do something fun, then that hub will offer that service to that community. So you will come in and there's going to be literacy programs for our children. We have tutoring. We do high dosage tutoring for our community, so one-on-one tutoring for our kids. We also have programs that are focused around cooking and healthy eating. We have gardens, community gardens that are at our hubs as well. So a parent could be learning how to incorporate the 4 food groups into a meal with their children and teaching their children different vegetables and different fruits that they could eat every day. Then you could also have a community dinner that happens that night. So that is where our families come together in that whole community and they join with one another to have a family meal. We may do a movie night as well as a part of that community dinner with them. So every hub is going to be unique to that community.
No question about it. Ms. Eggleton, what do you see as the future? I know you've expanded all over the country.
Yeah.
How big will this get?
Okay, so that's a great question, and we're going to do this before I retire. Okay. We have a pretty audacious goal, and it is to get to 250 million people.
Wow.
In the next 10 years, where we create connected communities, where communities have voice and they have every ability to fulfill their dreams in 42 cities. We've laid out a plan and we're working on that right now. Philadelphia is our next city, and then Chicago. But it's an aggressive plan, but it is a plan I think that is really important right now. If you think about it, we always had pieces in the community, our church, our neighborhood school. So we feel this is the time to build that infrastructure.
Yeah. What scares you the most about all this?
Tasha, you know this about it. Look, it's a really not a great funding environment right now, right? So we need to raise as much money, but as many volunteers. I think that's the future. I'm pretty fearless. I think
I can tell. But
I think this is what's needed, and we have lots of support behind us to get this done. So we need to just join forces with as many as we can.
Yeah. And Ms. Gail, what do you see as the future for Brilliant Detroit, which is a part of Brilliant Cities?
Yes, I think just as Cindy said, our goal is to reach as many people as we can with this service, because when we're in the community and the community can come together and we can create connectedness across the community, then that's our vision. Our goal is to connect people around things that matter the most, and that would be our children, and making sure our children have a strong foundation to grow.
Very good. All right. Cindy Eggleton,
Thank you.
Tarsha Gale, thank you so much for coming in, sharing all of this information with us. Wish you just continued success as you continue to branch out across the entire nation.
Thank you for being part of the journey.
All right, pleasure. If people want to get more information, they can just go to your website.
Which is brilliantcities.org, or they can go on our Facebook, Instagram, whatever works, or email us at info@brilliantdetroit.org.
Perfect. Very good. And we want to thank you at home for joining us. I'm Chuck Stokes, and we'll be back next week with more Newsmakers in the Spotlight. We hope you have a good week.